Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So in this video I'm going to be covering Fairy Tale by Hans Christian Andersen called Clumsy Hans. So let's dive in. So out in the country there was an old mansion where an old squire lived with his two sons who were so witty that they thought themselves to be clever for words. They decided to go out and propose to the king's daughter, which they were at liberty to do. She had announced publicly that she would take for husband the man who had the most to say for himself. The two brothers made their preparations for 8 days beforehand. This was all the time they had, but it was enough. For they had accomplishments, and everyone knows how useful they can be. One of them knew the whole Latin dictionary by heart and the town's newspaper for 3 years, so well that he could repeat it backward or forward. The other had learned all the articles of law and knew what every alderman must know. Consequently, he was sure he would talk for governmental affairs, and besides this could embroider suspenders, for he was very gentle and also clever with his fingers. "I shall win the princess," they both said, as the father gave each of them a beautiful horse. The one who had memorised the dictionary and the newspapers had a coal black horse, while the one who knew all governmental affairs and could embroider had a milk white one. Then they smeared the corners of the mouths with cod liver oil to make them more glib. Not gonna lie, that sounds a bit nasty, but there we go. All the servants assembled in the courtyard to watch them mount their horses, but just then the third brother came up, for there were really 3, although nobody paid much attention to the third, because he was not so learned as the other 2. In fact, everyone called him Clumsy Hans. "Where were you going in all your Sunday clothes?" he asked. To the king's court to woo the princess. "Haven't you heard that the king's drummer is proclaiming all over the country?" Then they told him about it. "Gracious," said Clumsy Hans, "I guess I'll go too," but his brothers only burst out laughing at him as they rode away. "Father," shouted Clumsy Hans, "let me have a horse. I feel like getting married too. If she takes me, she takes me, and if she doesn't take me, I'll take her away." "That's a load of nonsense," replied his father. You'll get no horse from me, while you don't know how to talk properly. Neither do I, apparently. Now your brothers are intelligent men." "If I can't have a horse, I'll take a billy goat," said Clumsy Hans. "He belongs to me, and he can carry me very well." So he mounted the billy goat and dug his heels into its sides and galloped off to the highway. "Alley up, what a ride! Here I come!" shouted Clumsy Hans, singing so loud that his voice was heard far away, while his 2 brothers rolled on ahead of him. They were not speaking a word to each other, for they were thinking about all the clever speeches they would have to make, and of course they had to be carefully prepared and memorised beforehand. "Hallyo!" cried Clumsy Hans, "here I come. Look what I found on the road." Then he showed them a dead crow he had picked up. "Clumsy," said the brothers, what are you going to do with that?" "Why, I'm going to give it to the princess." "Yes, you do that," they said as they rode on laughing. "Hallyo, here I come again. Just look what I've found this time. You don't find things like this on the road every day." So the brothers turned round to see what it was this time. "Clumsy," they said, "that's just an old wooden shoe, and the upper part's broken off anyway. Is the princess going to have that too?" "She certainly is," replied Hans. And the brothers again laughed and rolled on far in advance of him. "Hallyo, here I am again," shouted Clumsy Hans. Now it's getting better and better. This is really something." "Well, what have you found this time?" asked the brothers. "Oh, I can't really tell you," Clumsy Hans said. "How pleased the princess will be." "Eh?" said the brothers. "Why, it's nothing but mud out of the ditch." "Yes, of course," said Clumsy Hans, "but the very finest sort of mud. Look, it runs through your fingers." Then he filled his pockets with it. But his brothers galloped on ahead as fast as they could, and so they arrived at the town gate a full hour ahead of Hans. At the gate, each suitor was given a numbered ticket, and as fast as they arrived, they were arranged in rows, six to a row. packed together so tightly that they could not even move their arms. That was a wise plan, for otherwise they could have cut each other's backs to pieces. Just because one stood in front of the other, all the inhabitants of the town stood around the castle peering in through the windows to watch the princess receive her suitors, but as each young man came into the room, he became tongue-tied. "No good," said the princess, "take him away." Now came the brother who had memorised the dictionary, but he had completely forgotten it while standing there in line. The floor creaked under his footsteps, and the ceiling was made of floors, so that they could see themselves standing on his head. And at every window stood 3 clerks and an alderman, writing down every word that was spoken, so that it could immediately be printed in the newspapers and sold for 2 pennies on the street corner. It was a terrible ordeal, and besides there were such fires in the stoves that the pipe was red hot. "It's terribly hot in here," said the suitor. "That's because my father is roasting chickens today," said the princess. Bah! There he stood. He was not ready for a speech of this kind, and hadn't a word to say. That's when he wanted to say something extremely witty. "Bah! No good," said the princess. "Take him away," and he consequently had to leave. Now the second brother approached. "It's dreadfully warm in here," he said. "Yes, we're roasting chickens today," replied the princess. What? Did you, what?" he stammered, and all the clerks carefully wrote down, What? Did you, what?" "No good," said the princess. "Out with him." Now for Clumsy Hans' turn, and he rode his billy goat right into the hall. "Terribly hot in here," he said. "I'm roasting young chickens," replied the princess. "Why, that's fine," said Clumsy Hans. "Then I suppose I can get my crow roasted." "That you can," said the princess. "What, have you anything to roast it in?" "I haven't any pots or pans." "What I have," replied Clumsy Hans. "Here's a cooking pot with a tin lid." Then he pulled out the old wooden shoe and put the crow right into it. "Why, that's enough for a whole meal," said the princess. But where do you get the sauce from?" "I have that in my pocket," replied Clumsy Hans. "In fact, I have so much I could afford to spill some of it." Then he pulled a little of the mud from his pocket. "I like that," said the princess. "You have an answer for everything, and you know how to speak. I'll take you for my husband, but do you know that everything we've said and are saying is written down and will be published in the paper tomorrow? Look over there, and you'll see in each window 3 clerks and an old alderman. And that alderman is the worst of all. He doesn't understand anything," she said. They only frighten him, but all the clerks chuckled with delight and sprouted blots of ink on the floor. So these are the gentlemen," said Clumsy Hans. "Then I must give the alderman the best thing I have." Then he turned out his pockets and threw the wet mud in the face of the alderman. "Cleverly done," said the princess. I could never have done that, but I'll learn in time." So Clumsy Hans was made a king with a wife and a crown, and sat on a throne. And he had this story straight from the alderman's newspaper, but this one you can't always depend upon. And that is the end of Clumsy Hans. So I did quite enjoy that one. Kind of showed how his brothers looked down on him, and even his dad. Like, come on, man. Like, your parents are supposed to believe in you. I mean, like, you know, my parents didn't believe in me, but you know, it's fine, I'm over it. But yeah, it's a good tale. Just because you're not the best at talking, or you're not book smart. I mean, he ended up marrying the princess and becoming king, so he hasn't done too bad for himself, has he now? But yeah, let me know what you guys think anyway. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions for anything you'd like me to cover on this channel, just let me know. All my socials are linked in my YouTube bio, as well as my email for this channel. So just hit me up on any of those. I do check them all regularly. Or you can let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you all in the next one.